Hello, everyone. So you know all this issue and conversation about Abacha, Sani Abacha, that Peter Obi worked for Sani Abacha. He worked at the port. He did this. He did those, and all of that. Well, it has gotten to a place where Mr. Peter Obi is actually setting the record straight and has brought out the letter of engagement that did happen. And this is Mr. Peter Obi on his Twitter handle saying, "Our engagement with General Abacha setting the record straight." He said, "In consonance with my established principles of defending everything I'm involved in, and in the interest of all men and women of goodwill, especially those committed to the pursuit of truth, I hereby attach a letter which documents my co-opting along with others into the task force on the decongestion of the ports. As I stated during my interview at the weekend and consistently maintained in the past, I had never met General Sani Abacha before that encounter." And I think this is one of the things, a lot of people do is because it like someone was, oh, he said he met him here, he said he didn't meet him here. In talking about it, say what he kept saying, well, he'd never met him before that day. So sometimes they either in editing or whatever, that whole place hongs, or he didn't finish his thoughts or whatever. And then people take, oh, he said he didn't meet him before. Oh, he said he met him now. No, he's what he keeps saying is that he never met him before that day that they went to go and meet him on the issue of port congestion. And it was him and a group of people that had gone. The number that even went was much larger. But the morning before, the night before the encounter, some of them chickened away because they were afraid. They were being told that Sani Abacha was going to get them arrested and all of that. And then he also then went in. He then with others went in, and at the end of the day, when they finished complaining, he was like, this guy, okay, you guys are complaining, come and solve the problem. And then that was how this whole thing came out to be. So he said, in consonance with my established principles of defending everything I'm involved in and in the interest of all men and women of goodwill, especially those committed to the pursuit of truth, I hereby attach a letter which documents my co-opting along with others into the task force on the decongestion of the ports. As I stated during my interview at the weekend and consistently maintained in the past, I had never met General Sani Abacha before that encounter. Our meeting with him was born out of collective concern as traders and importers over the prolonged delays in clearing goods at the port. We approach him not as political actors, but as concerned citizens seeking pragmatic solutions to a matter affecting economic activity and livelihoods. Our intention was clear: to advocate for efficiency and to propose practical steps towards returning normalcy in port operations for the benefit of the wider business community and ultimately the Nigerian economy. The clarification is offered in the interest of truth to reaffirm that our actions were driven solely by a sense of civic duty and not political ambition. I don't expect this copious evidence to bury this Abacha case because the mischief makers have ulterior moves, but it's being placed in the public space for posterity and in line with my transparency pledge to Nigerians on any issue I'm involved in. PO. The only thing I would say I have issue with this statement is that mischief makers. I mean, that's not the language I think he should put out there. There are people who call, yeah, they might be mischief makers, but just put it. You can don't just assume, because that's just don't just assume they are mischief makers. To say there are some, or there are some citizens or whatever. Because I believe as a president, everybody, even the ones, the good, the bad, and the ugly, you are the president of the good, the bad, of the ugly. So take everybody, whatever they are, even when they are being mischievous, you don't have to call them mischief makers. Well, there are some citizens who will not let it rest, and it to go on like that. And so if you come in to look at this is where it comes about documentation, keeping everything that you have, because this is the kind of paper that you'd have thrown away. This is 1996 to 2006. Next year to be 20 years. Is it? Or is it 30 years? No, it will be 20 years, right? 1996. Whoa, it's gonna be 30 years next year. Whoa, because I'm looking at it, I can't be 20 years because I got married to 1998. So that's wow, it's gonna be 30 years next year that this, and he kept this document. He said Federal Ministry of Finance, blah blah blah, with the address, Garki, the Secretary, Lagos Commerce Association, the Secretariat, blah 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 blah. I say appointment as co-opted members of the task force on port decongestion. And then someone went there, and that was what Daddy Freeze was saying with all authority on air that he was MD, Nigeria Ports Authority. I see how, guy, he couldn't even have been, because as if you are going to be an MD, I don't think you're going to be doing businesses. He would have had to not do businesses, and I don't see Peter Obi agreeing to go and be MD and not do his businesses. How? And with such authority, and coming from anybody could have said that it wouldn't mean anything, but with the kind of authority that goes with that, the freeze, in the fact, in the terms of in journalism, where they are on air personalities, is what they call them, or this thing. There was someone who has a huge following, who sort of like does, I don't know whether it does journalism or does analysis, but it's a public analyst, let me put it that way. And then for him to make that statement that was obviously not factual, it set a look, and that's why people came. It wasn't that people were attacking him because he said he was at that, but because that thing you said was not factual. They needed to set the record straight, otherwise there are going to be a lot of people who are going to take that on as the thing. And it says, in consideration of the issues raised in connection with the decongestion of the ports, today with your good selves and other relevant officers, you are hereby appointed as co-opted coordinators and co-opted members of the Port Decongestion Committee in Lagos as follows. Mr. Oke Ezibe, coordinating all ports. Chief Chike Chibwe, Assistant Coordinator of all ports and liaise with police unit at FIIB Alagbo and non-IDR goods. Joe Best Okoye and Pristoni Akanegbu will coordinate activities at the Tin Can Island port. Gregory Peter Obi and Edwin Okeke will serve at Apapa port. Patrick Chibuize and Chief Oke Okereke Murtala Mohammed, airport. By copy of this letter, you are being introduced to the team leaders of the various committee of the ports, and you are urged to cooperate with them. Copy to the Assistant Inspector General of Police Headquarters, the team leader, and it was signed by Alhaji Abu Gidalo. So, and there's something very interesting as I read this, and I think I'm going to do a whole video on that, is the fact that most of the names that you see there, I think literally all of them are southeastern names, because they are the business people who were concerned, who went to meet him, and he co-opted him. This was the Nigeria we used to have before all of this craziness. Yes, there was a bit of tribalism and but it was not as crazy as this. Nobody bothered. It was like, you are good in this one. You are the one that, okay, oh, all of you, be there. It didn't matter. Now they will not come and say, oh, you must have everybody from every region. You must have this. Even if they are not the best food to put forward, they now become, the thing that it's being done. But then we had, you are the ones who can do it, who are interested. So go and do it. Nobody cared. Nobody bothered. But now, it's a major, political this thing. But hey, one thing I just want everyone to know that, like Peter Obi said, this thing is not going to end it. Nigerians are in an abusive relationship, and when you're in an abusive relationship, you do everything to stay in that abusive relationship. If you see anyone that wants to take you out of the abusive relationship, you do everything to criticize this, to find fault. Whether it's fear, it's just part of the thing that usually happens. So everything that will be done to criticize Peter Obi and all of that, whatever, it's being done, and we see it. It is what it is.